Welcome to another edition of Sunday Homily. On this 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time, we are confronted with the term called peace. Peace is understood in many ways according to one's needs. But peace in the genuine sense is a word that simply means the presence of God in our lives. In the Old Testament reading, we find from the book of Kings, Elijah was asked to experience the meaning of peace. He was asked by God to go onto the mountain to search for His very presence. And the three forms of expression that came before Elijah can be understood in these ways. When Elijah confronted a mighty wind, it was to say in our time, the winds of change, the winds of new thoughts that sometimes even shatters the very foundation of human society and human thinking. The second that is confronted by Elijah is one that comes with earthquake, which is metaphorically seen in our time as the rebellion that takes place in the world for just wages, for just life, for justice in itself. And the third form of confrontation that Elijah encounters is fire, which can be understood in our time as wars and violence around the world. And yet, Elijah never encountered God in any one of these things, but he encountered God in a very peaceful manner, in the very presence of a gentle wind. It is for us today to realize that often human situations created because of our own needs can be devoid of justice. Where justice is not truly found and truth is not the basis for justice, then the presence of God, the peace of God is never attained in man's life. From the reading of the Gospel, we find Jesus challenges Peter to walk on rough days towards Him. For Peter and the apostles in that boat symbolizes the church today. As church, we cannot hide away from the realities of life. As church, we cannot hide away from the very questions that challenges us of our own personal dealings, such as morality and also in manner in which we serve the world today. Peter was challenged to walk on water, and as long as Peter kept his focus, he was able to find strength to reach Jesus. But the moment his focus shifted onto the mighty waves, he started to sink. We too in the church have found throughout the history of 2000 years that we have faced many kinds of changes. We have gone through many revolutions. We have gone through many councils that helped us to define to be what we are. And yet, for 2000 years, the presence of Christ have not left the church. It is the fact that she survives today means that God is still present in the church. And for us as church, we too are challenged in the shifting times, in the changing times, in the challenging times of our human history, of our human situation, and even in our own various countries. As long as we keep our focus upon Christ and His teaching for us and being faithful to Him, His peace and strength is there to bring us through any difficulty. When we shift our focus into what the world has an opinion about the church or what the church should be, then the church has lost its cornerstone, Christ the Lord. Thank you and have a pleasant day.